Well, we proudly welcome you to Blues Game Day Live alongside the great Joe Vitale, Darren Pang. This is a game one of defending the Stanley Cup, and it's hard to believe that we're saying that because we know how hard it is to win at this level. And for what the Blues went through last year, Joe, at the very beginning, it's been well documented. But last year we started this show thinking about the promise, all the changes that Doug Armstrong made, and it took a little while. But that last 3 months was some exhibition of hockey for the St. Louis Blues. I know it's going to be a grind again, but the players are behind us. They're getting ready for the Washington Capitals tonight. Oh my goodness, what an emotion it's going to be here at Enterprise Center. So I guess as a player, thinking the excitement, Joe, you're just out of the game. The excitement of getting it on now and getting rid of the preseason and the mundane boringness of what that's all about. And to start it off tonight's got to be really exciting for these guys.
Well, it is for the St. Louis Blues, for the city, Darren. I mean, 14th Street's just going to be buzzing. If you're coming down to the game, get there early. Curbs and I'll be out there during the parade. But this is a situation where you're coming into the season, and it's not like you're getting your feet wet on a team that's not going to be a high caliber. You're playing the Washington Capitals, so the players, for them, it's a bit of a struggle because you have the banner ceremony, but then you're also thinking about the game and moving on. And Darren, you mentioned the celebration, and to me tonight's really about turning that page. I know that you win a Stanley Cup, you have the parade, you have your day with the cup. We saw the rings on Monday, but to me tonight is about raising that banner, appreciation for the year that it was, for all the people in this great city. But then when that puck drops, it's going to be the official turning of that page, I think, moving on to the season.
And the fact there's really Justin Falk is the lone new player here, that the players are the same. The practices have been pretty intense. The system's right there. The coach had his first training camp with them, and Craig Berube. But I get the sense that I think they'll feed off this emotion and the energy that's there. I think they're well prepared for it. It's not a young group that just won the Stanley Cup. It's a real veteran group that's been around this game a long time.
Well, Darren, we were watching practice a couple weeks ago. You made a great observation. You said that this team looks like they're in mid-season form, and I couldn't agree more with you that the lines were pretty much together. Craig Berube had this top line, for example, with Shen, Schwartz, and Tarasenko together right away. It was snappy, it was crisp, and you mentioned that hangover seems to be the word, but I actually hope there is a hangover from how they played those last 3 months of the season, and I think that's very, very clear that this is how this team wants to play. Having Justin Falk there on the back end is certainly an upgrade. No disrespect to Joel Edmondson at all, but I think this is a team that got better in the offseason, and they're looking and they're chomping at the bit just to keep moving and get this season rolling.
Okay, let's move forward then, because there's a couple of open spots there during training camp that weren't quite seized like we thought they were going to be. For example, Zach Sanford and Mackenzie McEachern maybe had opportunities because of their play last year and Mackenzie's play when he played almost 30 games last year. But the guy that snuck up and performed well, lost some of that weight, but looks like a mature athlete is Robbie Fabry. And Robbie Fabry would be the two guys looking on that left side, and boy, they both look very, very good.
I think these two are going to be in the lineup here tonight because of one reason. I think they earned their spot, Darren. We watched the preseason games, and I think Craig Berube's been shown to give roster spots to guys who earn it. He's going to give ice time to guys who want it, and I thought they showed that desperation all preseason. You mentioned Robbie Fabry. This is the fastest I've seen him play. I mean, even before the injuries, he looked very clean. His stride looks good. He's getting to spots in a timely manner. And then Sammy Shotgun Blay. Wow.
I call him the Rocket.
I know you call him the Rocket. He didn't like that, though.
No, I think the Rocket Richard, though, is number 9. I mean, he's a Montreal Canadiens fan growing up.
Well, I think I'm going with Shotgun. Sammy Shotgun Blay, you're right. He did lose a little weight. And I tell you what, he, again, is a player that prides himself on grinding, being physical. But Darren.
Hits hard.
But, he's got some tools. He's got some offensive ability. And, Ryan O'Reilly, we were talking to him yesterday in the locker room, and he said that he's got so much offensive ability. We're trying to tell him to hang on to the puck. Don't be in such a rush to make a play. He's got some great skill up top, and I think he's going to really fill in on that second line very nicely.
I had a theme last year, 9 hits and making no plays versus 4 hits and making 4 plays.
Bingo.
And
good balance.
I think it is a good balance because you can get, overly rambunctious, but he's a good hockey player with good hockey sense, and when you're playing with guys like that, you want to make Ruby that we didn't see last year because Mike Yeo was coaching the team at the very beginning. A little change in philosophy, and something you can look for again this year is he encourages and reinforces your ability to hold on to pucks. And I think the game might change because of the way the Blues won last year. They didn't just funnel pucks to net. They didn't just give them up or shoot them at at angles that were even, and they made plays. Boy, is that refreshing. I like that theory.
Yeah, well, it's a quality of shots, I think, especially when you let a goaltender kind of hang around.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Game 7 there, for example.
You mean no shots for a bunch of time?
No shots. Wow.
That's a great strategy, by the way.
Just go no shots.
It was good against me. I started thinking, let your goalie stand on his head in the visitors' rink.
Exactly
right.
Yeah,
good call. Speaking of the goaltender, Jordan Binnington, and obviously a new start for him, starting the season, the banner raising, the importance of being prepared to begin the season and get off on the right skate, as they say.
What is that like, Darren, from a goalie's perspective when you're a backup? You have a situation like Jordan, you come into maybe expectations are low, maybe not so much pressure to succeed last year, but now he's the guy. He is the go-to. Different approach to the game from a mental, emotional, physical standpoint.
I went from the other side of it. I went from that rookie year where I was a young goaltender at 23, and I ended up playing 50 games. And then the next year, a new coach came in, and I ended up sitting for the home opener. So it was, you've got all kinds of balances that you have to go through. But for Jordan Binnington last year, you could say that he had that Claude Lemieux-like experience. I go back on players that played their first games, and it was in the playoffs, and they were on such a high, and then they got to the regular season the next year, and maybe they weren't that prepared for the lack of emotion of the regular season. But this is different. He started in January. I mean, he went January, February, March, April, May, June. He went a full season.
You can make the argument he was the guy.
He went a full season for that amount of time. So I do believe with the off-season, signing a new contract, and Doug Armstrong was quick to get him into a 2-year deal. I mean, he jumped from, a $650 a year on a 2-way contract to a $4.5 million a year deal. But, I talked to Jordan about that, and he says that's a good start. Like, he's always looking ahead. I think he's just got that presence about him, but again, you just want to get off on the right foot. You want to handle pucks early. You want to get that confidence. The fans here in St. Louis have a great deal of confidence in him. So no matter what he does on the ice, no matter what kind of save it's going to be, they're going to give him that feedback, and it's going to be positive because he's a hero in this town, and the way he played, he deserves to be recognized as that. So, but again, the way you defend. In fairness to last year at the beginning, they didn't defend well in their own zone. It was a different coverage than they're used to. They gave up quality shots. And Jake Allen, he was the victim of that, to be quite honest with you. This team's going to play hard. They're going to play proud. They're going to defend. They're going to box out. And they're going to make it hard for a really, really great Washington Capitals team to get inside.
Well, I think so. And it's going to be an emotional start. They're going to be feeling it. I think the energy there, physically, they're ready. They're healthy again, Darren, to start this year, which was a huge piece to last season. Really, it's just going to come down to execution. And to me tonight, Darren, it's just going to come down to playing that blue-style hockey, which is that defensively smothering, almost to the point where your opponents kind of give up in that third period. If they can do that, they're going to have some success here tonight, I think.
You're right about that. And you're going to have success coming to the rink as well. Don't forget, off the 14th Street is shut down. Okay, so be prepared for that. There's going to be some jams. Be patient. Get here early.
The next exit. It's
next
on the left
exit,
side
or before
of the
that.
highway.
You can go before that.
You
can get off at Jefferson. Go down Market Street.
Options.
There's a lot of options right there. We got options tonight. Also on the radio side, 101 ESPN, Joey and Chris Kerber, you guys are off to a great start, by the way.
Darren. Thank you.
Wall-to-wall coverage, talking hockey all the time, and that's fantastic. And, of course, tonight's game is going to be on NBC Sports Network. Eddie Olczyk and Doc Emmerich and Brian Boucher will have that call. We will start it up on Saturday on Fox Sports Midwest. John Kelly, the whole crew, Bernie Federico and Scott Warman and myself. So we're excited about that. But for tonight, we're excited about the banner being raised, the Stanley Cup. Not closing a chapter, because I know everybody's anxious to get things going for the next one, but this is going to be some heck of a night. People have been waiting for this forever here in St. Louis, so we're looking forward to it. Joe, have a great call tonight.
Darren,
And you're off to a great start, pal.
Can't wait. Let's go.
Okay, so as always, for Joe Vitale, I'm Darren Pang. Enjoy your day, everybody.